and they may be here. Hey, Noel, good to see you. Alan, hello. Zippity Doo Dah, JDH. How is everyone? I am great, Cindy. Thank you. Hey, Sue, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Renee, hello. Deborah, good to see you. Tanya, Steve, everybody is here. Glad you got notifications. We'll be a little bit behind on getting YouTube people on because I didn't start the stream. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Hickbook. How are you? Hey, Robin. Good morning. I was a little slow in the punch this morning there, Robin, trying to get everybody on YouTube. Forgot to hit the start streams to bring you guys on. Okay, as we got a lot to talk about, and I mean a lot. So as you're coming in, please share. I'm going to quickly read Psalm 61, and then we will get into it. Hear my cry, O Lord, attend to my prayer. From the end of the earth I will cry to you. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the shelter of your wings. For you, O God, have heard my vows. You have given me the heritage of those who fear your name. You will prolong the king's life, his years as many generations. He shall abide before God forever. Oh, prepare mercy and truth, which may preserve him. So I will sing praise to your name forever, that I may daily perform my vows. Amen. Hey, Francis. Hey, Susie. Good morning. How is everybody? Already lost my voice, and we just started. Don't forget that. Thanks, Cindy. It's a beautiful verse. I'm probably less happy about Kavanaugh than most here today. I'm a little less happy about that too, Renee. But I want to quickly tell you a couple of things. Number one, all 12 Thai boys and their coach are safely out of the cave. Thank God for getting them out. Know it was God that did it. Hey, Jamie, good to see you. America has a new day. Absolutely. Also, the President and First Lady are on their way to Belgium. They left this morning. Wish them good Godspeed and safe trips. I'm not happy with the pick, Robin said. Also, just moments ago, there was an announcement that Dwight and Stephen Hammond, who you may remember kind of triggered the Oregon siege of the refugee, not refugee, but Oregon Ranch. That basically what happened was back in a long time ago in the 2000s, they set fire to land that they said they had grazing rights to, and they were sentenced to a short period in prison, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals didn't like the small amount of time they were given. Well, it's not really it's not really the Bundy case. It's not really the Bundy Ranch, but the Bundys were kind of involved in it, and the Hammonds were one guy. The Hammond is 76 years old. His son is 49 years old. They've been in prison for about the last 3 years. They got pardoned today by the president. They will be coming out. Yes, praise the Lord for the boys being rescued, Robin said. Absolutely. Jamie said that the pick Kavanaugh is better than most. Now, one other thing, Chezzy wanted me to I know, Trump did another thing, a great thing again. Hey, Carmen, Chezzy wanted me to tell you that she found out that the bots that come on here, for every bot, it can kick out like 121 people. So she was saying for every bot that you see, go ahead and report them and then block them. Yes, Wayne, absolutely great. Deborah saying amen to all of it. Yes, yes, yes. Very good news all the way around. So, hey, Jules. Austin, the FBI was dirty in that situation. As always, Renee, under Comey, who was so proud of the way the FBI was run, block the bots, but also report them first, Carmen, and then block them. So it's kicking out people. It's probably why some of you aren't able to also comment when you want to. We all wanted Amy Barrett. I know, JDH, but you know what? And I think in some ways, deplorable human, good to see you. I think in some ways it was a compromise. I'm not happy about compromises with the president. I don't like that. But I think it was a way to make sure that he could get 50 votes. And even with that, we're not sure of getting that. Because, as you know, John McCain is not able to vote. And so we have to get all 50 on board with the pick. Susan Collins, Murkowski, they're going to be the hard ones to do it. Trump blew it. He caved into rhinos and Dems, Renee said. And so in order to get Collins on board, she was afraid of Roe versus Wade being overturned. And this is probably the compromise. Although the president pick has the most experience, yes, and he has the most experience sort of in the D.C. Circuit Court, which is right in the establishment, Washington D.C. That's what some people are not liking, and I totally get that. He has also said that he will follow precedent. He has never talked about overturning Roe versus Wade, but that won't matter to the Democrats. They're still going with that. Although the president pick has them. Okay, here's a bot report and block. I'm going to be blocking it. Hey, Eric, good morning. So, there are some downsides. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. But I think that overall, we've got something. I'm leery of the Jesuit connection. He's a staunch Catholic, from what I understand. Hey, Jules. And he is a constitutionalist. He is somebody that, will follow the meaning of the Constitution. He knows the role of the judges and the justices are to interpret the law, not create the law, as did the Democrats, and as the Democrat advocates do in the judges that we're seeing in the decisions that are coming down. That's what they do. They're trying to create law, not staying in their role. He has a Christian group pushing back and asking conservatives to reject the nomination. I know the Democrats have already rejected him. I mean, they were doing that before they even knew who it was, of course. They had signs already made. They had the Women's March. Some of the things they did, they put out a statement, and instead of putting a name, they had an XX there, because obviously they had prepared the statement before they even made the pick. And that's pretty typical of what the Democrats do. The Women's March said, today is a death sentence to thousands of women in the USA. You may be right, Cully. I didn't see what Cully said. Do you think Strzok will actually show up on Thursday? I think he will, because he's subpoenaed. If he doesn't, he's going to be in trouble. Have a problem with the Bush connection, Cindy said. Yeah, he was in the Bush administration. He also was leading the charge against Clinton with Ken Starr. I don't like the fact so much about that. Rhonda said, I seriously doubt a Christian group is pushing back. Yeah. Oh, for Pete's sake, Roe versus Wade will not be overturned. Yeah. Well, that's their battle cry, and that one. If you can inflame your base and scare them, there's a scope now of Dems freaking out, saying he's against the right to abortion, won't take guns away. Yeah. I mean, of course the Democrats are going to do that. But anyway, back to what the Women's March said. They said stripping a woman's ability to make decisions about her own body is state violence. And they said, we cannot let this stand. We will raise our voices and take to the streets. Why so upset about a Catholic judge, but a Muslim president? I know. That they'd be fine, Lynn, with that. Hey, Fowler, how are you? Jules, you're back. And also, the Women's March statement accidentally, like I said, left that XX there because they hadn't even put a name in there yet. The battle cry is over Roe versus Wade. Our battle cry is Second Amendment, Brandon said. McCain, Mitt, and Jeb posted support of Kavanaugh. If that's not red flags, I don't know what is. Yeah, that's not too good. And McCain isn't going to be able to vote, they're saying, because of what is happening with him. Hey, just said, Morning Sue, a far better pick than what Hillary would have picked. Yes. Kiss Lady Gracie for me. Yeah, Lady Gracie is under the table. I can't even move my feet. Loony liberals continue to fearmonger. Yeah, it's amazing. Maybe he won't be confirmed. Cindy, there's a real possibility that he won't, because the Democrats are fighting it tooth and nail. And again, if we don't get all 50 of the Republicans on board, we're not going to get it. Do what you want with your body, baby, is not your body. DNA. Whoops, I missed that one. DNA, a separate DNA, blood, etc. Exactly, Jules. Kane needs to step down. He is a waste. Renee said. Gracie girl. Rand Paul doesn't like him either. Yep. Good morning, Chezzy. He isn't confirmed. Next is Amy, which, yeah, they would be even more upset with Amy than they would be with him. So they should confirm him. They will fight him every way because they don't want, you know who they want? They want Merrick Garland. That's who they want. Nancy Pelosi has vowed already to uh, avenge Obama. Yes, I told him about the bots, the repeat bots. Yes. Yes, Chessie, I did. I remembered. So, you know, they're all the Democrats are going against him. Metrics, yuck. Let me see what Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren said, you know, his record is clear. He's hostile to health care for millions, opposed to corporate accountability, thinks presidents like Trump are above the law, and conservatives are confident he would overturn Roe versus Wade. All of these people are just giving out their BS in order, because it's an election year. Maybe Trump is flying him in first to wear down the Dems and old team GOP. Who knows, Cindy? Susie said, why doesn't McCain retire? I think, you know, sometimes when you have that big of an ego, I mean, I wouldn't see anybody else retiring either. Some of the rhinos. Elizabeth needs a DNA test, GDH said. Yes. It does not matter what the left does. Prophecy said the Lord will overturn Roe versus Wade. 60 million babies murdered should never happen. God is grieving. Horrible, just horrible. And Rhonda said Dems would oppose Santa. Absolutely. He's not going to change Roe versus Wade. I don't think so either, Lynn. Maybe somewhere down the line. I don't see it happening. The hyperbole is over the top. All see through it. Except the real Migray. I don't know. Is it Gray? I'll just call you Gray. The people on the left don't see through it. The people on the left right now are the way they were on the night that Hillary lost. Crying, screaming, standing out in front of the Supreme Court. Shannon Bream felt so threatened she had to move away from the Supreme Court last night and go back to the studio because she said it was a very volatile situation. Running late, overslept. Uh-oh, Susie. I do love that. I know. I mean, people have just lost it and will continue to lose it. And again, they want to inflame their base. Hey, guys, hope we are all good today. Hey, Lee. Absolutely. Hope you're well, too. No DNA test. She is Native American. I know, Wayne. Instead of Roe versus Wade, nix the Planned Parenthood money. Yeah. You know, I mean, nobody on the Republican side has even mentioned Roe versus Wade. Carmen said they are all nuts. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much they are. And again, this is all just done for the election. I think most of what MSM reports is extreme liberals. Exactly, Rhonda. Because it sells, and it's what they want you to believe is the norm, and what they want you to believe is happening and is important to people, when really it isn't. And I think mental illness runs rampant in the Dems. Well, it certainly does, Lynn, in the far left progressive Dems, for sure. Ginsburg will be 92 when Trump leaves office. He will get a third judge. Why did Roe even get started? I didn't know it was coming up before SCOTUS. Geez, the lemmings. It isn't, Renee. Nobody mentioned it except the Democrats. Democrats just wanted to start trouble and do something to inflame their base. So they invented this Roe versus Wade theory that it was going to be overturned by the conservative judges, and that was our plan. As far as getting back to McCain, I think McCain should step down, and I think McCain should be replaced at this point if he can't function in his job, because he's not representing the people of Arizona the way he's supposed to. But I think with Kennedy, when Ted Kennedy had the same thing as McCain, they didn't replace him either. So Judge Brett Kavanaugh is with the VP at Capitol right now, Josette said. Cool. You a judge, look like a judge. Well, thanks, Greg. I know you meant that as a compliment, so thank you. Name is Amy. Vocal peeps are few, many are walking away. The real Amy. Oh, the real Amy. There you go. Now I can see it. Thank you, Amy. It's so light on this screen, and I can't see people's names. It's just unbelievable. When they changed it, they made it more difficult for you to see who was talking. I'm the real Greg. Good Greg. Have you visited D.C.? I have, Jules. Did you see the campus reform video at NYU? The students didn't blink and lying and making statements. Yeah, Renee, they didn't even know that there had not been a selection, and they were already saying, oh, I don't really like their selection. Hey, Jerry. So, you know, if you're already not liking the selection before it happens and you think it happened, that shows you how far out of touch you are and how you don't follow the news, and how you just believe everything that you were told. We know that, and they just prove it every day. The brainwashing is real. Your light behind you is glaring. I don't know how to get rid of that light. You have two Jules now. I know. Well, I have a Julie and a Jules and a Jules. There's the light. It's my camera, and I can't do anything about it. If I do, I'm going to cut off the people on YouTube. Is that any better at all? It should be a little better. No? At least 19 injured in a plane crash, I just now see. Yes, that's better. Okay. It's an angel. Could be. Could be. It's better. Okay, cool. I'll try to fix it for tomorrow. Looks fine either way. Thank you, Jules. It's an angel protecting Susan. I hope so, Carmen. I need one. Let me try to move this. Maybe this will make it a little bit different. No. Also, is that better? Just so I remember it, God's views on political news will be on today at 1 o'clock on Facebook, on the Facebook page of God's views on political news. It is a live show where you'll be able to make comments and ask questions during the show. We're going to be talking about the Supreme Court Justice pick, so you might want to join us, and we'll talk about everything. What about Kavanaugh? What about Kavanaugh? Light is pointing at you, highlighting your halo. Oh, good. When nominated as left-wing judges, I can't recall anyone on the right trying to stop them now. Yeah, that's God's light shining on you, Susan. Great. I need that. Angel's still with you, watching over you. Cool. I need that. I need that. Corrupt politics in the USA. I think there's corrupt politics in a lot of places, Greg. Is it live on YouTube, not on Facebook? It's on Facebook. Unfortunately, you can see the replay that will be on SusanKnowles.com. If you just scroll down and find the God's Views on Political News, I post the replay there. I also post the replay on Twitter and on YouTube. Good morning, Monique. Hello, everyone. She said it could be reflection on the top of the office chair. Maybe a black cloth would help reflection. I think that's some of it, but there's also a light shining down that was bothering people, I think, Rhonda. Hey, Marlene, the ultra-left are scared that they won't be able to kill babies. You're moving to the Dominican Republic. Wow. Okay. Good luck. Sorry, late life gets in the way sometimes, Barbara said. That's okay, Barbara. Something else I was going to mention to you. Oh, it's interesting. It's interesting how when they talk about that women, won't be able to get an abortion, and that, let me see some of their words, exactly what they said. That will directly lead to the deaths of countless women with the dismantling of abortion rights. They always talk about, the left always talks about the dismantling of women's rights and the death of women caused by somebody who overturns Roe versus Wade. But they never talk about the death of the children involved in Roe versus Wade. I'm suddenly unable to see comments. Maybe go out and come back in, Renee. You know it's bad when their concerns are killing babies. And Brandon, but they never mention the killing of babies. It's just like, it's always, oh, it's going to kill the women, but they never talk about the killing of the babies, because they don't, number one, they don't want to make you think it is a child, and number two, they don't want you to know what it actually does. Only illegal children matter. That's right, Barbara. To them, that's all that matters. Absolutely. But it's just that crazy far left leaning, way of looking at things. And again, I always go back to 2 Timothy 3. If you haven't read 2 Timothy 3, please read it today. You really need to read it. I want to tell you a little something too while we're on the subject. That's the anointing and the angels around you, my Sue. Thank you, Josette. I want to tell you, it's a cult-like mindset. It's not a cult-like mindset, Brandon. It is a cult. It is a cult. Let's face it. It's a cult. When you have the far left extremists, it's a cult. Why can't people just use birth control or give up newborn for adoption? No point in the murder. Well, Renee, because we live in a society, and as we get farther into the end times, it is going to be geared and focused on the society of death, not of life. How many women actually die during childbirth these days? Not many at all. 60 million babies have been murdered. That's right, Robin. I know. I wanted to, narcissism, yeah, could be, Amy, entitled, I would support free sterilization, Cindy said. Yeah. I want to tell you a little bit of what's happening in the Middle East because as we're talking about the end times, left versus right will never end for the good of the people. Unfortunately, that's true. 24. That is or 247 G. That is absolutely true. We're never going to have peace until God's return. I mean, we can talk about it, we can wish for it, but we're never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Hello, his song girl. How are you? Um, this morning, Amir Safati came on, and he talked a little bit about what's happening in Israel. The left knows Roe versus Wade was based on a lie, and we now know when life begins at conception, period. Jules said, absolutely. Put an aspirin between your legs if you have a problem. My granddad, quote, according to Barbara. Oh, hey, Monica, how are you? One of my best friends couldn't conceive they would have loved a newborn and been excellent parents. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Is that Mike? Let's see. No, it's Kim. Hey, Kim. Hey, Robert. Glad that you're here. Amir Safadi said that there has been 14 earthquakes in 1 week in Israel. That's pretty substantial. Now, that happens about every 100 years, but this time it seems to be a little bit more prevalent. They have been named the 8th most powerful country in the world. Israel has. They beat out Canada and other countries. So that small and being named the 8th most powerful country in the world. This is where God and the Bible talks about this is where Israel will be. They are the 4th country. They will be the 4th country to put their flag on the moon. Elon Musk is going to be going and flying them to the moon. Chezzy, I don't know where the USA is. They're above the 8th. God is speaking, I feel, absolutely, Lee. In Iran, just yesterday, there was an airstrike. Hello, Danielle. Into Syria to destroy T4. That's a military base that Iran is setting up, trying to set up in Syria. Israel has told them repeatedly, we will not allow you to take a stronghold in Syria. So they went in and they destroyed that military base, and it sounded like it was kind of coordinated with Russia in order to do that. Kind of surprising. Hey, Laura Lee, how are you? So I just wanted you to know what is happening in Israel and what is not being reported. Amir thinks that is taking us closer to Ezekiel 38. Any more news on Bibi's wife? Nope, not a peep, Brandon. Not a peep. Isn't that amazing? They're hell-bent over their rights to kill a baby, yet pretend to be more concerned with saving children brought here illegally by adults who've broken our laws. Yeah, it's crazy. Josette said, like Juan Williams, who says that abortion is not murder. Wow, talk about a twisted mindset, Josette said. Yes, absolutely. What was wrong with Bibi's wife? She was arrested, or not arrested, but charged with, I believe it was bank fraud, as I recall, something like that. So they're going after her pretty much. Also, on the illegals, Judicial Watch, Jerry had posted this. Judicial Watch came out with a whole, like, 224 documents they've gotten in regards to Obama when he had the illegal, the unaccompanied minor children. What happened with them? Some were rapists, murderers. I mean, you have to go see the Judicial Watch documents that came out and kind of read through them. These weren't law-abiding, wonderful people. Yeah, that's Gracie. Heard a noise and had to bark about it. So, yeah, please take a look at that and to see how disgusting that it was. Now, here's another thing kind of along the same lines. You know how in the executive order that part of what, not surprised that Russia helped Israel, they work with us in space. Exactly, Deborah. Remember when part of that executive order that President Trump just signed in regards to trying to be able to keep the children with their parents? Remember that? And I told you that in that order, there was the Flores settlement, the Flores agreement. And I said, I don't see how any court is going to take that Flores agreement and change it. Now, the Flores agreement basically says that you can't keep children longer than 20 days in a detention type setting. President Trump was trying to go around that, if you will, to allow the children to stay with the parents. A court in California, surprise, surprise, yesterday said there's no way that we're going to overturn the Flores settlement. Just like I said, they would make that decision. Of course, they're not going to overturn it. It took years. It took like 10 years to reach that decision, and a court is not going to arbitrarily overturn it. What that means is that the children now have to be released. I don't know where to. I don't know if this is going to be another situation like with Obama when he released those children out into the street. Sex traffickers and pedophiles got them. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. And so we're looking at the same thing. If the Trump administration has to release them into the streets, then that's what's going to happen to them. 20 days to send them back to Mexico with people who came in with them. Let Mexico sort it out. Exactly. Somebody is making money. Brandon said, I'm all for sending them back. Here's some part of the problem. Some of those people are being detained for federal charges and other stuff. Now, what the court did say yesterday was that if the parents consent to allowing the children to stay with them in detention, then that will be allowed. They can stay longer than 20 days. My guess is we got a really serious problem here that they're going to, I don't know where they're going to put these kids. I don't know if they're going to send them back, take them out to a military base in another type of situation, or they're literally just going to put them out like Obama did, put them on the streets for people who say, oh yes, that's my relative, and they're really not. They're sex traffickers and pedophiles. The court cannot make executive decisions. Well, in the past, Danielle, they have, not legally, but they've done anything they want to get what their agenda is on some of these courts. Some of the children aren't related to the grown-ups. That's right, Daniel, and nobody seems to care. But what may happen is they may have to go out into the country and find a relative who will take these kids. My thing is put them back on a plane and get them back to the country they came in. A lot of them, their parents didn't even come with them and sent them. Aren't they doing DNA tests? Yes, they are. That has nothing to do with that, Monica, though. It has nothing to do with it. We have a bunch of young males at the Air Force Base close to me here in Texas. Yeah, part of them. Awful situation, Original said. Yes, then build the wall. Problem is that a lot of people are continuing, from what I'm hearing, are continuing to just come to America, and they're going to be flooding in. Now, you often hear what the left's argument will be about these illegal children that are here is, oh, they've come here for asylum, they're not illegals. Problem is, whether they're coming here for asylum or not, some are, some aren't. They're not going to the port of entry where they're supposed to go to if they're seeking asylum. They're trying to enter the country illegally. So that the left's argument doesn't hold water, as usual, but that's what they would want you to believe. How do we know these children weren't abducted by adults involved in trafficking? We don't, Rhonda, but here's what we do know. As Daniel said, the government is doing DNA testing. They're supposed to reunite the children with their parents within 14 or 30 days, depending upon the ages of the children. And the court now has given an extension of time for the government to continue their DNA testing past that 14-day and 30-day cutoff, because they know the government's working on it, but it's going to take time, so they've kind of extended it indefinitely. But again, that Flores agreement, within 20 days, something's got to be done with those kids. They can't be kept in detention. Only permit asylum seekers in Mexico at the consulate. Yeah, I mean, they can go to a port of entry legally and ask to come in. If you're coming in illegally, then you're subject to being arrested, deported, etc., etc. And they were saying that some of these people who that were sent back, some of the parents elected not to take the kids with them. So there you go. Parents have given up their parent card at that point. They've given up their parent card before they even came here. Common Sense Daniel said, hey, Jules, yes, it's at stop at first country, not the one that pays. It's disgusting, Cindy said. Yeah, I mean, we got a real problem on our hands, a real problem. And you talk about money that's going to be spent. So much money. The DNA testing alone, that's not cheap. They have many options to stop and ask for asylum before they get to the border. Exactly, Renee. But they want to be here in the United States. That is why SCOTUS must follow the Constitution, not add law. Yes. Um, oh, and also on the when they were given the Trump administration was given an extension of time to to continue doing the DNA testing. The court asked for the names of those. It's like 100 plus right now affected children that won't be reunited within the 14 to 30 days. The court asked for their names and then gave those names to the ACLU, who's the plaintiff in the case. So that way, the court is assured that the ACLU is going to follow up. Oh, it's all right. You got a phone call. That's okay. They let's see. They have been lied to and are ignorant of our laws. Pawns. Well, I guess Amy, but you know. ACLU is agenda driven. It sure is. Let Mexico decide how to take care of the domestic situations. Let me tell you about Mexico, Cindy. With their new Mexico president of Mexico. Okay, Lynn or Renee. The president there, he thinks it's a global right for anybody who's coming through their country, including the people who live there in Mexico, that it's a global human right for them to be able to come to the United States and get and stay here and get, you know, asylum or be turned out into the streets, whatever. He's a socialist, a horrible socialist. Just like Monica, it sounds like you know, the president of Venezuela. That's what it sounds like. And Deborah said, why did the government let people temporarily keep them as they are returned to their family? I don't, well, they wanted them to stay together, Deborah, because that's what the left wanted. Waiting for, Berkman to come out and talk about Seth Rich. Yep, we'll see, Jerry. He needs to take care of the civil rights of his own people. No, he doesn't see it that way, Cindy. He's going to try to do the best for his people. I mean, if you listen to it, it's all socialism. Mexico isn't supposed to be a third world nation, is it? The cartels treat immigrants as mules, sex toys, and garbage. Exactly, Daniel. What the heck is going on in Central America for people to want to flee? Brandon, you know, it's not so much that, but remember, Obama opened the doors to them. And Chesney is reminding, please make sure to report and block those bots. You know, Obama opened the gates, the floodgates to Central Americans. Mexico has always been a third world nation. Mexico is trying to secure its southern border. Mexico is trying to get rid of its problems into the United States, and anybody else who wants to come through there into the United States, they're like, come on. That's why we need that wall soon. The president is there for 6 years. Monica said, blocking's finger is on fire. I know, it has to be today. The right doesn't care about human, then... Yeah, the right, I mean, you know the whole argument, Deborah. It's always the left. It's payback for Texas, promise you. Barbara said, this is why, oh yeah, we already said that. Mexico is corrupt down, top down. Yes. And the people in Mexico, they're crying out for a leader who's going to give them what they think they can get under him, which is get us out of poverty, get us things that we need. And you know how that turns out. Never works well. If you guys could you please go ahead and retweet this? We're past the halfway point. I really appreciate it. I don't hear anyone talking about the wall anymore. Robin, yesterday I mentioned that there were some, some property owners in South Texas who have been contacted about the border wall, and they want to start surveying. So the news doesn't talk about it. You find it every now and then. Yep, it was the same in Venezuela. Yes, absolutely. And it's not going to work in Mexico. But, you know, again, they don't really care. They're told, we're going to relieve your problems. We're going to give you money. We're going to give you everything you need. We're going to allow you to go to the United States because you deserve to be there as a human right. And that's it. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, also in other news, oh, okay, I don't watch the MSM. I know, Robin. Um, let's see. Oh, that Bernie talk. Yes. Where's the money going to come from? Yeah, taxpayer dollars and from the United States when they send it back to the people of Mexico. How do you think these are? And do you think these are those countries' best people? No. No. I mean, I do think there's some honest people mixed in with them who, will want to make money to send it back to their families and things of that nature. I get that. But for the most part, I don't think it's going to be the great people of whatever country. They're just going to want to put all the problems on us. And I frankly, they've got to get these people out of here quickly because we're not going to be able to handle this many people. And they just continue to come. Their best people are still there making money. Brandon said Mexico has massive, multifaceted resources, not comparable to Venezuela. I'm not talking about Mexico being Venezuela. I'm talking about, Iris, that the New Mexico president is going to run it like Venezuela did. And you have to remember that they have a lot of resources in Mexico, but they don't give it to their people. Amir Safadi, welcome. I just reported on what you reported on this morning when you were, or evening where you are in Singapore. Thank you for the update about Israel. We don't often get an update on Israel, so thank you so much. And I did tell everyone about that. So if it was their best people, they would stop them coming here. Exactly, Cully. Exactly. There would be a reason to have them stay. Mexico, basically, with all the resources that they have, their people don't have to live in poverty. They really don't. But they do that because the government there keeps all the resources. Low-skilled workers are only going to hurt the USA. Why can't we put sanctions on Mexico for their human rights violations? I don't know. It may occur that way someday. We may. I don't. We've always been really friendly to Mexico. But again, look at how much money we send Mexico. Why are we sending Mexico money when they have all of those resources? When they send their problems, let's just say in general, over to the United States, why are we still giving them money? Right, there are car factories down there. There's everything. They found oil and gas and everything in Mexico. They don't need our money. Really, why are we? I don't know, Jesse. I really don't know, other than the fact that we've done that forever. I see more tariffs in Mexico's future. Hopefully so. They have become bellicose and adversarial. Cindy said, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So just, keep a watch of that. Now, I wanted to tell you something else that President Trump did. He signed a bill today to help grandparents who are raising children. It's called Supporting Grandparents Raising Children Act. It sets up a one-stop shop of resources, and it's approximately 2.6 million grandparents who are raising their children's children. So, and they say most of those children are on opioids, and that's why they're having to raise the grandchildren. Say no to avocado toast. Don't support Mexico, Brandon said. We get our avocados in California. You guys know that Duchess Meghan Markle is no fan of President Trump. She loves Hillary and calls herself a feminist. I know, Joseph. Nobody cares about what she thinks anyway. Go Trump, Cindy said. Cuba dumped their problems, aka criminals, on us. Exactly, Cully. Exactly. I mean, why would you give up your good people? You wouldn't want... I know, poor Harry. Praise the Lord, Deborah said. I know. I mean, so all those grandparents, for years, grandparents have needed help, and they're not getting it. And now they are with the president helping. He said that he would help in the opioid crisis, and he is. Yes, MAGA indeed. Fire your lawn boys, housekeepers, and maids. Easiest way to fight immigration, folks. Or just simply have, hey, Teresa, every employer have to do a... isn't there a hurricane that's about to hit the Caribbean? I don't know if it's still a hurricane or not, or tropical storm. I don't know. But yeah, E-Verify, just have the employers do that. That would help a lot. Only hire legal aliens. Well, it's like what Kevin DeLeon, who is a state leader in California. Why don't we send our worst there? What would happen? They would send them back, Robert. They would send them back. Yes, do all you watch commercials? California avocados picked by illegals. That's true. Um, what can you do? What can you do? Okay, so in other news, I'll just move past that one. High new immigrants and families can always go to. I mean, you being in California, wow, that's going fast. Understand the relationship between American culture and Mexican labor. I do, and I also know that it's being abused as well. It always has been. Well, let's see. Well, as for the opioid situation, they are making it harder for people who need them. Impossible. And Driscoll's berries. Yeah, well, we all know employers don't live under that code. That's why I say that. Mow yourself. Okay. The truth is that without immigration, the population of America is declining. Can we send the resist people to Mexico? I think that we could have people here on visas. I don't have a problem with that. Or have people coming here as getting a green card. That's not a problem. When you have illegal immigrants here, that's a problem. If you set it up right, work it right, they would kill our bad people, Wayne said. Canada is dealing too. So, I mean, things have to be done correctly. We need reform that won't hurt people that need the pills, but keep them out of the hands of addicts. That's true. Yes, let's send the I'm going to move if Trump is president to Mexico. Exactly, Brandon. I mean, whoever said that, probably Alyssa Milano, anybody else, Rosie O'Donnell, send them. If they want to go, that they're free to go. Let's see. Some other news. There are 6 former coaches, kids in school potentially with TB. Oh, absolutely. That's absolutely the case. They're still here, sadly, Chesney said. They in California, you have to have a TB test before going to school. Teachers have to get TB tests every year or two. I know of two illegals getting Social Security checks. That ticks me off, Kim said. Trump is making America great again, as always. Wizard, get your one-way ticket. Yeah, Canada is declining. Yeah, well, I mean, what do you expect? You can't possibly do it. Let's send all Maxine Waters supporters and Pelosi and Schumer to Mexico. That would be good, Jag. I suggest we release our convicts with stipulation they leave USA. Hello, Mexico. Good, Carmen. See, it doesn't work that way in other countries. They can give us whoever they want. We're supposed to take them, no problem. They can dump their sewer and sewage over to our country, make part of California, Mexico. But we're not allowed to give them back or demand things from them. And are the Canadian refugees here? I think everybody's here, Robert. Anybody and everybody can be here. The illegals getting money. Social Security is over $3,000. I get $750 for disability and can't work. Yeah, I know, Chesney. And if anybody is doing that and they're getting it illegally, report them. Not that it would matter, and Boston will give illegals voting rights. Yeah. I live in Texas and could take you to a whole side of town that I would wonder if I were in Mexico. I can take you to several places. Barbara, I don't like my circumstances. Can I be a refugee? Brandon, you can't. Just renounce your citizenship in the United States, go out, come back in, you'll be better off. You'll have more benefits, free hospital, free everything that you want, You won't have to do anything. Here's something that Stockton, California is doing. This should frighten you, even though you think maybe it's just in California. Again, what happens in California slides across the country. She must live in Waco, Wayne said. In Stockton, California, they're going to be first in the nation to do this. They're going to give a universal basic income to this is experimental in the beginning. So they're going to take 100 people and give them $500 a month for doing nothing, just for existing. They said that the purpose is to eventually ensure that no one lives in poverty. This is in California, Stockton, California, Renee. And it was Stockton's kind of like I see bankruptcy in the future. No kidding. They're close to it. It's already like the foreclosure capital. in Stockton, California. They said they brought in, they built too many arenas, too many marinas, too many everything, trying to lure people into their city, but they went, belly up instead. California, the new Detroit. Yes, true. Now, the program is being backed by those people in Silicon Valley, those rich people in Silicon Valley. It's being backed by Facebook co-owner Chris Hughes, who gave $1 million to the project. And he said, if we don't make changes, make significant change, income inequality will continue to grow. Hey, Chris, I have an idea for you. Since you're so filthy rich and you're so concerned, why don't you give, I'll be generous, give half of your income to all of those people in Stockton. Just start writing out checks, give away half of your income. Therefore, the inequality that you're talking about will be a little bit better off, right? Now, I call it socialism. I know that you don't. So if you want to follow the socialist rule, then you need to give away your money. So go ahead, start writing out those checks today, and as Jerry said, redistribute your wealth. Half of your wealth. That's it. I'm only asking for half. I'm not asking for 3/4. I'm not asking for all of it. Just give away half. Start signing those checks, and everybody in Stockton will suddenly have a lot of money. So thank you, Chris, for that idea. Go for your socialism in your city. I saw on Fox this morning a woman whose husband, an officer, was knocked down by an illegal who is now free. Oh, yep, just that, no problem. Yeah, Chris, I want some. I can move to Stockton, Chris. If you want to write me a big check, I can move there today. I can get an apartment, get my check, get on back down here to San Diego. Chris, honestly, how do you feel about the suggestion? We can all claim some injustice to ourselves for ancestors and ask for money. Yes. Good morning again. Hello, Alexis. I didn't see you. For $500 a month, you help a lazy individual today. Chris, give me some of that money. Exactly, Jag. I'm putting a check in the mail now. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for helping out. Now, so far, they're saying that Silicon Valley is all on board, but a lot of it right now has just been talk. All talk and no do. Chris, I need a new truck buddy. Yes. Everybody, what you should do, you should write to Chris Hughes. I'm just saying, if you feel that you're in need, write to Chris Hughes. Tell him what you need in your town. Ask him for a check to cover it. The Oprah doctrine, you get a check, we all get a check. There you go. And I think we should take it a little bit farther. I think we should write Oprah. I think all of us should write Oprah and tell Oprah we would like some of her money. Now, I know she lives in California, right? So ask her for some money, too. Tell her it was Chris Hughes' idea. Need a new handicap van? There you go, Monica. Gonna have a city full of people making only $500 a month. That's right, Alan. That's exactly right. And not only that, did that work out really well for Marie Antoinette? I mean, doesn't it sound like Marie? You're not blocked, Carmen. Doesn't it sound like Marie Antoinette? Basically, if the rich keeps giving you $500, if that $500 stops, then there's going to be problems. And somewhere along the line, you're going to be saying, hey, you know what? $500 a month isn't enough. I want more. Going to draw in non-working people from all over. Yeah, the people who are living on the street, they're going to want it too, the homeless people. They'll quit going to shelters because they can get a check from Chris Hughes for $500 a month. And again, when that money dries up, there's going to be a problem. Let's be honest, guys. It's $500 worth of heroin. Who said that? Alaska has been doing this for years. How's it working out? Hey, Noel. Good to see you. Give me adrenaline as well. I don't think it's going to work out. It may work in Alaska. It may work better in Alaska. But we're talking Stockton, California, okay? Stockton is right near all of the Silicon Valley and everything else. You won't use it for drugs. Okay, Chessie, that's good. Drug money and clean needles for everyone. There you go. I think the cold and remote location keeps the numbers down. And again, look at Alaskan demographics. Totally different than Stockton. Totally. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. So I don't see it working. If they had any common sense, they would take all that money and clean up the streets of San Francisco. San Francisco, woo, they're in a world of hurt. The Bible said, teach a man to fish, not give him one, or otherwise he will become dependent upon that person. These leftists have no brains, Josette said. Josette, the problem is the leftists want you to become dependent upon them. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing exactly what they need to do in order to get that. Get kicked when I hit the share button. So weird, Barbara. I don't know who's doing that. Because as I said, I took that other thing off, so. So, hey, Nikolai. And right now, it's only for 100 people in Stockton. I don't know who those 100 people are. I don't know how they made that determination. But I think the other people in Stockton ought to be complaining. California is already overrun with homeless. Yep. I mean, let's face it. California has the kind of weather that if you are homeless, it's a better place to be because you're usually not freezing to death. They want you to become dependent so they can control you. Absolutely. Marlene's been listening. Thank you. Well, look at the mass exodus. Yeah, Brandon. The mass exodus is all the people with money leaving. Yes, send them to do work, citizens work for money, get the pooper scooper out in San Francisco. I think they did that in San Francisco, Jerry. I think they are starting to pay the homeless to pick up in San Francisco. But I don't know how that's working. San Diego had a homeless problem, and they started getting hepatitis, as you recall, and giving out hepatitis shots. Why don't these rich liberals give every illegal immigrant $500 a month to stay in their own country? Well, that's true. They could give it to the illegal immigrants too. Too busy making streets white. I know, Brandon. Only $40,000 for a mile. Too busy making streets white. Yes, Brandon. And that's only, I think that's only in LA. So far it hasn't, I mean, nobody can afford $40,000 like for a mile. All right, so in other news, Jim Jordan. 6 former wrestling coaches have all come forward and said that they never saw or heard of any abuse at Ohio State University in regards to the wrestling team, and that Jim Jordan, as well as themselves, knew nothing about what was going on with allegedly with the doctor. Hey, Dee. So that's 6 people now who are defending Jim Jordan. And I'm starting to see more and more, of course, on the left who have already convicted him before anything has been said or done. Jordan is being set up. Absolutely, Chessie. Absolutely. It's an election year. They know it, and they're just putting crap out. And did you know that, I mean, really, when this came out, I think I found it on Fox and nowhere else. Susan, when does Congress vote on the vote? Trying to think if they're going to do it. Let's see, this is the 10th. They could do it. They could start probably, I would say, either later this week or next week, because they're going to be out. I don't know if they're going to be staying in August like Mitch McConnell wanted them to, or if they're going to be leaving on vacation. I would say they're going to have to start it now. Dems will try to solve. Oh, you know they will. You know they will. And don't forget also, later this week, Peter Strzok, again, is supposed to speak publicly before the House, and it's on Thursday. So depending upon when that is, I may not have this show on Thursday. I'm going to be off Wednesday, and I may not have it on Thursday or come on later afterwards because I don't want to miss what he's going to say. This whole thing with Representative Jim Jordan smells very fishy. It is just that. It's a made-up lie. That's all it is. They aren't going to skip their vacation. Well, Mitch McConnell said they couldn't do it until they couldn't leave in August, Alan. Lisa Page is testifying today. It's closed hearing, yes. Actually, I think it's on Wednesday that she's going to be testifying, Jerry, and it's going to be closed hearing. The Dems are pure evil, Robin said. Let's see. I hope they do it before. Whoops. I hope they do it before the weekend. No sleeping on this. Too much time for Democrats to shuffle. Let's see. He will smirk the whole time. Trump made the safe, easy choice for SCOTUS. He should have picked Barrett. Yeah, Jack, we kind of talked about that. 2 South Carolina justices, no collusion, economy up, jobs up, winning, winning, winning. Yes. I hope they do. Okay, there's a bot. Everybody please report that bot and block. Let's see. The Jordan situation stems from a person with a dispute with a college and Jordan's brother. Yeah, I called Chuck Schumer's office and told him when he says the Americans want, he's not talking for me, as he said, especially after what happened to his nephew. I know his nephew got killed, I believe, in a car crash just a couple days ago, Noel. Hey, if they have vacation plans, we the people can take the tickets. The real Americans. Chesney said, don't speak for the real Americans. Yes, your dog disagrees. I know. Woof. Next, she will be in. Gracie is fired up. I know. Gracie the Republican. Barrett would have been an amazing SCOTUS. I agree with you. But, I mean, the fight would have been fierce. And he's trying to appease not only the Democrats at this time, which I'm not for appeasement, but we have to have 50 votes because McCain isn't going to be voting. And so the only chance of getting that, if you brought Amy Barrett in, Susan Collins, he's trying to minimize the struggle. Susan Collins and Murkowski would have been against her automatically. We don't have to worry. POTUS will have at least 2 more times, probably. I trust Trump. Who will replace McCain? Brandon, I wrote an article about that about a month ago. There is some talk that there may be some deal that has been made, which, you know, quote-unquote deal, that Cindy McCain may take over. Now, go back and read that article if you'd like. I don't know if that's going to happen. Sometimes Trump listens to the wrong people, and you'll never appease the Dems. Exactly, Renee. But I think he kind of wanted somebody that could get in. Write shorter responses, people, Wayne said. It's all made up, a lie like all the rest. They will attempt to destroy anything that flies and disagrees with their psychosis, Monique said. I'll be watching the entire hearing on Thursday. We should connect on Facebook to chat. McCain is pushing for his spouse to replace him. That's right, Renee. I wrote an article about it at SusanKnowles.com. Paragraph comments bunch up. They do, Brandon. But, yeah, I think that's a hearing that you want to watch with Peter Strzok. I want to see how many times that he's going to change his statement or lie or look uncomfortable. I mean, having been in the FBI, maybe he won't. I don't think his pick will vote to overturn Roe versus Wade. Jack, nobody's talking about Roe versus Wade except the Democrats. That's it. 3rd interview today with the same company. Yay, Brandon. Keep us posted. That whole thing with Roe versus Wade is just made up by the Democrats because they wanted something to get their people behind. That's it. Nobody else on the Republican side has even mentioned Roe versus Wade. Kavanaugh's daughter was jogging and political protesters approached her. Unbelievable. The little kid, I mean, come on, these kids are so little. Good luck with the job, buddy. Yeah, thank you. Brandon appreciates that, I know. Whiners. Yeah, that judge and his family now will come under so much stuff. Thank you, Susan. God's News today. Yes. God's views on political news on today at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Facebook page, God's views on political news at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, you can ask comments, make comments, and ask questions during the live show. The live show will later be put on SusanKnowles.com under God's views on political news. You'll see it. It'll be there, and also the podcast. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. See you in about an hour. We'll go ahead and end a little early. That's sick way something. It went so fast. Good to see you then. Hopefully my headache will go away. Take something for it, Marlene, and get on in there. Supreme Court Justice upholds the law. Have a good one. The Supreme Court Justice actually interprets law. That's their job. That's all they do. God bless you, Monique. Thank you. We'll be watching and listening in. Can't wait. Cool. See everybody there. I will be back on Thursday. But look for I'll put a something up on Twitter to let you know what time, just in case. Just in case that Peter Strzok is talking, I want to watch the hearing, so we may or may not have something on Thursday. But keep you posted. Check my timeline. All right. God bless. See you then. Take care. Ah. Twitter does Periscope does not want to let me go today. All right, you guys, take care. God bless.